Welcome you back once again in geological knowledge. So as I have promised and I have taken a poll in the community tab of the channel, that is whether I should discuss about the previous year question papers of PSU PET since the exam schedule has been rescheduled. So I thought I should discuss about the previous year question papers. And why should we discuss? So that discussion will provide you a idea that how the questions are asked and which type of questions are being asked. Okay, so the topic is same. Suppose the topic physical geology or the sedimentary geology or the structural geology, the topic is same in the whole all the exams related to geology, but the type of questions or the nature of questions that can be changed. Okay, so the nature of the questions can be easy, they can be moderate type, they can be of tough type. Okay, so the difficulty level that can vary. What I mean to say is that, okay, so that's why I have decided to discuss the previous year questions one by one. I have divided into parts. So firstly we will talk about the 2018 paper. Okay, so this is the PSU PET previous year question paper and this is the 2018 paper. Okay, so first question is dealing with the coastal lakes which are connected to sea are known as. Okay, so what are the coastal lakes which are connected to the sea and connected to sea are known as. Okay, options are freshwater lake or the sabkha, okay, sabkha or the lagoon or the embankment or the embayment. Okay, so fortunately or the luckily the options have been ticked. Okay, but don't trust the options. Okay, the options are official. I have taken this paper from the official websites of PSU PET portal, but don't take it or don't trust completely. Okay, you must understand most of the times the answer will be right. Okay, but forget about the option, just take it as a fresh question. Okay, so the coastal lakes which are connected to sea, they are known as. So when I was talking about the coral reefs, there we have talked about, that is the, when I was talking about the barrier reefs, so the barrier reefs, these were built away from the islands and therefore they enclosed a lagoon between the central landmass. Okay, so coastal lakes which are connected to sea are known as lagoons. Okay, and you will talk about when you will read about the coral reefs, then you will see that the formation of the stages, that is the fringing reef, the barrier reef, the atolls. So where there you will read about the barrier reef, and in barrier reefs you will also study about the formation of lagoon or the lagoon lakes. Okay, so coastal lakes which are connected to sea, these are known as the lagoons. Okay, we all know, and that was very basic question or very easy question. Question number 2 is dealing with the Sial is also known as. So this is and you must understand that the since it's a competitive exam question paper, so you will get questions from all the branches. Okay, so second question is that is from the interior of the earth or the internal structure of the earth. So Sial is also known as part of core, lower continental crust, the mantle or the upper continental crust. So you all know that is the the crust that has been again divided into two parts, the lower crust and the upper crust and the lower crust. Okay, and the upper crust that is formed of the minerals silica and the aluminium, okay, which is collectively known as Sial. Okay, so silica of Si of silica and aluminium of Al of aluminium, that has been combined and that has given rise to Sial, and Sial is also known as the lower mantle. Okay, we all know that is in the continental region or the continental crust, the crust can again be divided into two layers. The upper layer or the upper continental layer, upper continental crust, that is less dense and granitic in character. Okay, that is known as sial. Okay, and the under oceans only sima layers. That's not the uh, point of our discussion. Okay, you must understand only about the sial and sima. Okay, so upper continental crust, that is the sial. Third question is dealing with the flat topped hills or the small mountains formed by stream actions or known as. Okay, so flat topped hills and the flat topped hills or small mountains formed by the stream action, they are known as mesas, butte, cuestas or the stream terraces. Okay, so there are two terms you must understand. The options that has been ticked, that is the butte, but you must understand these two terms, the mesa and butte. Okay, so when we define a plateau, okay, so a plateau can be defined as a broad flat area that rises up to a height of over 300 meters, okay, above its surrounding conditions. Okay, above its surroundings, a plateau is broad flat area that has risen up to a height of over 300 meters. But few plateaus, they have elevations much higher than the 3000 meters. Okay, and the best example is Tibetan plateau. They have an average height of about 5000 meters, and smaller plateaus, they are called as mesas. So mesa is a flat topped hill, but a mesa, they may be defined as a low flat topped upland having a steep sides, and the butte is termed the butte term that is used for the isolated hill with steep sides and small crest. Okay, so its crest is small as compared to mesa. Okay, and that is given here flat topped, that is in both cases mesa and butte, but small mountains means the crest that will be small in size, so that's why the butte will be the correct option here. Okay, and the remaining option, that is the stream terraces, that is not, that is also formed from the process of stream action, but that's not related with all the three options. But cuesta, that is also important. So cuesta, how we can define? So it's a asymmetric ridge which is formed in the regions where the rock beds are gently inclined and hard and soft rocks occur successively. Okay, so in case of cuesta, that is a asymmetric ridge. Okay, asymmetric ridge which is formed in regions where the rock beds, they are gently inclined and hard and soft rocks, they occur successively. One rock is be hard, then soft, then hard, then soft, so that alternate change in the hard and soft rock that takes place in case of cuesta. Okay, so correct option in this case, flat topped hills or small mountains, they are known as, formed by the stream accents, they are known as butte. Fourth one is, which among the following rivers doesn't form a delta? Okay, so we all know that is the rivers which flow, which drains in the Bay of Bengal or the east flowing rivers, they form delta, and the westward flowing rivers, or which the rivers which drain into the Arabian Sea, they form estuaries. Okay, so Krishna, Godavari and Ganga, they all drain into Bay of Bengal, but Narmada Valley, the Narmada river, that flow from in between the rift basins or the rift valleys, and ultimately they get drained into the Arabian Sea, okay, forming the estuaries. Okay, so fourth one, that option is right one. Fifth one is the land counterpart of delta is known as pediment, natural levee, alluvial fan, or the stream terrace. So land counter of delta, that is known as alluvial fan. Okay, when the river, a particular stream or the river that drains into a, when at the mouth of the river the delta is formed, same in the situation at the land counterpart the alluvial fans up to the foothill or up to the foothill of a mountain or the hill at the, they are formed at the, they form the alluvial fans. Okay, sixth one is exfoliation is form of, so we all know that is the exfoliation, that is a very important process of the physical weathering process. Okay, or the physical weathering process. So it's mainly a physical weathering process in which the large sheets of rocks they peel off from the, from an outcrop. Okay, so option A, option 1, that is the right. 7 one is crust and the part of mantle together constitute. So we all know that is lithosphere. So crust and the upper part of mantle, that is collectively known as lithosphere. Okay, and that dealing with the long, narrow and sinuous ridges of sand and gravels situated in the middle ground moraines. These are known as drumlins, eskers, kames, and crag and trails. Okay, so you must understand the key point or the key term, that what are the key terms from where you can identify or you can guess the answer. So long, narrow and sinuous ridges of sand and gravels which are situated in the middle of the ground moraines are called as. Okay, so these are known as eskers, you all know, but how you can define it or how we can know it? So eskers, they are long winding ridges of stratified drift which are found in the middle of the ground moraines. Okay, so you have got one clue, that is situated in the middle of the ground moraine, and they are also, and they run for kilometers in the direction more or less parallel to the direction of ice movement. Okay, so that is also a clue. Okay, the clue, that clue is not given in the this question, but they also run parallel to the direction of the ice movement, and they are formed, eskers are formed due to the deposition of gravels and sand by the inglacial and the subglacial streams. Okay, so you have also got another clue, that is the gravel and sand. Okay, and in many areas they are mined for sand and gravels also. Okay, so now you can option or the clearly you can know from the description, that is the long, narrow and sinuous. Sinuous means curved. Okay, ridges of sand gravel situated in the middle of the ground moraines, these are known as eskers. Okay, and kames, we all know these are the hillocks of the stratified drift which are formed at the edge of the retreating ice by the glacial streams. Okay, so kames, these are formed at the edges of the retreating ice by the glacial streams. Okay, and crag and trails, drumlins, we all know that is formed by the drumlins, they have the small, smooth and elliptical hills of the till that lie parallel to the direction of the ice movement. Okay, so that is also, that can also not be the answer. Okay, so the correct option, that is the option 3, eskers. And these are very important questions, okay, from the exam point of view, because this is the first competitive exam that you will take place or that you will face. Okay, so you will get easier question and very easiest question also, and some questions will be little bit tough. Okay, from your standard they will be little bit tough. Okay, but you must study the basic part first. Okay, part is, if you know, if you are very confident about the basic part, then you can understand other points also. Okay, so basic of particular topic, that must be understood, and these are very basic definitions as you are dealing with. Okay, ninth one is, which among the following is formed by the wind erosion? So four options are there: Yardang, Gorges, Loess and Butte. So Butte and Gorges, that is formed by the stream process as we have talked about, and the Loess, so Loess is formed by the deposition. Okay, so Loess, the plains of Loess, और जिसको हिंदी में if we talk about in Hindi, they are known as Loess मैदान, Loess का मैदान we call them. Okay, so these are the depositional features. Okay, but the Yardang, the question is dealing with the erosional feature. Okay, so Yardang is the erosional feature. Okay, Yardang, ventifact, pedestal rock, these are the important wind erosion features. Okay, and 10th one is dealing with the nebular hypothesis was proposed by, so we all know that was proposed by Kant and Laplace. Okay, so you must understand both these terms are important. Kant and Laplace, they both they both together proposed the nebular hypothesis. Okay, so first and second, that cannot be the right option, third one is the right option. 11th one is, headlands are produced by, so headlands, that is produced by the marine erosion, you all know. Okay, wind erosion, river erosion or the groundwater erosion, that is not the correct option. Headland erosion or the headlands are produced by the marine erosion. 12 one is, stalagmites are characteristic of, okay, river, glaciers, groundwater and wind. So we all know that is the stalagmite and stalactite, these are the two important depositional features which are formed by the process of the groundwater erosion, sorry, groundwater process. Okay, so these are the depositional landforms you must understand. Stalagmites and stalactites, these both are the depositional landform. Okay, so these features are found in cavern areas. As water drips from the roof of a cavern, evaporation leaves a small deposit of calcite behind, and they gradually form a cone-shaped pillar of calcium carbonate hanging from the cavern roof. Developing such a depositional landform is known as stalactite. If it is hanging from the roof, then this is called as stalactite, and similar deposits, they also grow from the floor of the cavern where the water drops, and such pillar-like forms which grow upwards from the cavern floor or from the ground surface of the cavern, these are known as stalagmite. So stalactite, okay, so you can understand or you can just keep in mind from any okay, any trick, by any trick, okay, you can just understand. So stalactite, that is hanging from the wall or hanging from the roof, and stalagmite, that is from the ground surface. Okay, that grow upwards from the cavern floor, these are known as stalagmite. Okay, so correct option is stalagmites, these are characteristic of groundwater. 13 one is, dip of axial plane and plunge of the fold hinge line are same in which type of feature or which type of fold? Okay, means the dip of the axial plane and the plunge of fold hinge line are same in which type of fold? Okay, so that is known as reclined fold. Okay, in case of reclined fold. Recumbent fold, we all know that is the folding is intense that both the limbs become almost horizontal. Okay, so that cannot be right. And isoclinal, if we talk about, so they have the parallel limbs, they are known as the folds that have parallel limbs are known as the isoclinal folds. Okay, and incline means their fold axis that is inclined, but in case of reclined fold, dip of the axial plane and the plunge of the fold hinge line, they are same in the fold axis. Okay, so they are same in a fold, that's why they are known as the reclined fold. 14th one is an upright fold is superimposed by another upright folding with mutually perpendicular fold axis, which this result in. Okay, so this result in the dome and basin type of structure. Okay, so they are mutually perpendicular as well. So an upright fold is superimposed by another upright folding with mutually perpendicular fold axis. Because you must understand the definition. So in the dome and basin, when the strata they have been subjected to folding in two directions at right angles, each anticline that is converted into the dome and each synclined into a basin, and the fold they are about as wide as they long, and the dome they may be defined as the upfold, where the bits dip radially outward in all the directions from the center. Okay, and a basin can be defined as a downfold where the beds dip radially inward towards the center. Okay, so that is the option 1, that is the correct option. 15th one is, here you have been given a diagram. So if 1, 2 and 3 represent the successively younger bits. Okay, so as you are moving from 1 to 3, the sequence of the succession of the bits that is getting younger and younger. So the structure given in the figure is known as. Okay, so we all know that is in anticline. So firstly we must understand what is anticline. So an anticline fold is a upfold in which the limbs dip away from the axis of the fold on either side. So that is given in the diagram. As you can see, the limbs of the fold, these are dipping in away from each other or in the opposite directions. Okay, and we all know that is in case of anticline. In case of anticline, the older rock that occurs in the core of the fold. Okay, so you can see from the diagram that is 1, 2 and 3, they are representing the successively younger bits. So 1 is older and 3 is younger, so that means 3 is younger. Okay, and we have talked about that is in the core of anticline older bits occur. So it means its form is antiform, is its form is antiformal, but because the younger bit is occurring in the core, that's why we are calling them syncline. Okay, you must understand this term: anticline, antiform; syncline, synform; antiformal, anticline; and synformal, anticline. So these are the permutations and combinations. Okay, and if you have understood, if you can understand, you can understand easily. You take a little bit of time, okay, or just go to your teacher or any other who has prepared for the examination or who has the knowledge about the fold and the particular topic. So that person can teach you, or you can just read it by your own. Okay, very easily you can understand, but you must understand the basic concept, the definition of anticline and synform, so anticline and syncline, and also that which bed is occurring in the core of which bed. Okay, so in the core of syncline you will always get younger rock in the core, and in the core of anticline you will always get the older rock. Okay, so if you remember this concept, then you can answer this question easily. Okay, and this type of questions are generally asked even in the GATE examination. This type of questions have been asked already. Okay, 16th one is, what is the Listric fault? Okay, so this is a very prominent type of fault or a very special type of fault. Okay, so you must understand two terms or the two very important factors, that is the curved normal fault. Okay, so curvature must be in case of Listric fault. So how we can define? So curved normal faults in which the fault surface that is concave upwards and decreases in with the depth occurs in the extensional regimes or the extensional zones, where the main detachment fracture they following a curved path rather than the planar path, and rollover anticline will after form between the bedding planes and the main fault plane as the result of the flexing between the two. Okay, so curved, now you can see the option, that option C, that is the steep tipping fault at top and gentle dipping fault at the bottom. Okay, so if the outline is curved, then obviously the that fault that will be dipping steeply at the top and gently dipping fault at the bottom. Okay, so that is the essentials of Listric fault. You can easily answer this question. 17th one, which one of the following statement is true for the structure which has been for the structure shown in the diagram? Okay, so options, firstly you read options. So dip fault and strike slip fault, strike fault and the dip fault, dip fault and the dip slip fault, strike fault and the strike slip fault. Okay, so if you understand the definition of all the faults which have been given in the options, okay, then you can answer this question. And you must understand the elimination, that how you can eliminate the options. Okay, so you all know, you can see in the definition, you can see in the diagram, that is the slideward movement is there. Okay, parallel, okay, sorry, lateral movement is there in the diagram given here. So you know that is in case of strike slip fault, the lateral movement of the fault blocks that takes place. Okay, or I will have to take the help of this. One second. Okay, so you all know that is in case of strike slip fault, so this block is going this way, okay, and this block is coming this way. Okay, and that's why that is the process, or that is the method of the strike slip fault, that how this fault is fault, or how this type of faults they are formed. Okay, so it means now you can eliminate the options. So it means either it will be option A, okay, or it will be option 4. Okay, because you have pointed out that this is the strike slip fault, Now you are remaining with two options, that is whether it can be a strike fault, okay, strike fault also, or whether it will be a dip fault. So if you know the definition of these two faults, so a fault in which the strike approximately parallel to the dip direction of the bed. Okay, that fault in which the strike approximately parallel to the dip of the bed, dip direction of the bed, these are known as dip fault. And in case of strike fault, a fault in which a fault which runs parallel to the strike of the strata. Okay, strike of the strata, that fault is known as strike fault, or strike fault is also termed as longitudinal fault. Okay, in which it runs along the strike of the regional structure such as the major fold axis. Okay, so from here you can understand that is it's a dip fault. Dip fault because a fault in which strike approximately parallel to the dip direction of the bits. So these are dipping in this way. As you can see, you can identify from here. One second, you can identify from here. Okay, you can see just this is the, from here you can understand. Okay, so these are dipping in the direction of the dip of the beds. Okay, so that's why it will be a dip fault and the strike slip fault. Okay, so this is the correct option. Here will be option 1. Okay, 18th one is shear joints are formed due to the. Okay, so what are the shear joints? And they are also formed due to the tensional forces, compressional forces, coupler forces, or the tensional forces. Torsional forces. Okay, so when I was talking about the about the joints in the objective geology series in which we have talked about, so here we have talked about the shear joints, tension joints. So what are the shear joints? So shear joints, these are those which are formed due to the compressional forces involving in the folding as well as the faulting of the rocks. Okay, and tension joints, these are formed because of as a result of the tensional forces. So you must understand the basic differences. So shear joints, these are formed because of the shearing in the rocks, that means that takes place because of the compressional forces. Okay, so here the correct option, that will be the option 2. 19th one is, according to the geological map shown in the figure, what is the correct sequence of the tectonic events? Okay, there you have been given a diagram, and according to the geological map shown in the figure, you have to answer the sequence of the tectonic event, that what are the events which have taken. Okay, so firstly you will identify, just have a proper look on the figure, that what are the conditions, what are the features you are seeing here. Okay, so we can see here a fold A, B and C. Okay, we are seeing a fold here, a fault is also there. Okay, an unconformity is also there. Okay, and a dike is also there. Okay, just one second, I should just trace it out, that what I am saying. Just see here. Okay, as you can see that this is the fold. Okay, this is the fold and this is the fault. Okay, this is the fault, as you can see, and just for a second, I should take another color. And this is the dike, as you can see. Okay, this is the dike, this one. Okay, this is the dike, and this is the unconformity. Okay, so if you have understood that what are the features shown here and what you can see here, so firstly you can understand that this folding would have taken place. Okay, had it not been there, or in this sequence, if folding would have not taken place firstly, then how these A, B and C, the upper rocks, the upper beds, they have been deformed, or they have been folded, and the lower beds, the beds below the fault, they have been disturbed. Okay, so firstly the folding has taken place, then the faulting has taken place, and then unconformity has taken place. Okay, that's why the D bed has been exposed here, or the D bed that has formed after the deposition of the younger beds. Okay, and the formation of dike, that has taken place lastly. Okay, had that not been taken place, suppose the dike has taken place first, so if the dike has taken place firstly, then the A, B and C beds, they must have been deformed, they should have been deformed. Okay, or the intrusion must be there, or the unconformity, they have may been disturbed. Okay, but none of this is the case. Okay, so folding firstly took place, then the faulting has took place, then the unconformity has took place, and lastly that formation of dike has taken place. Okay, so this is the sequence of the tectonic events that has taken place in case of this particular diagram. Okay, so this was our discussion. In the next video we will talk about the remaining part. Okay, the remaining questions we will discuss it one by one. Okay, so I will not discussing the whole paper, or the most of the questions I am not taking today. Okay, we are just dealing the 20 questions per day. Okay, meet in the next video with the other questions. Thank you.